Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Eagles Halftime Live, brought to you by SeatGeek. Use code Philly Sports Points, save $20 off your first purchase. Well, the Eagles lead 13-3 at the half. It was an interesting halftime, Sam. I'll say that to start.
Yeah, I think the first takeaway is that I'm very thankful that the Chicago Bears obviously have no idea what they're doing, and very grateful that they traded with us in the draft, so we were able to take Jalen Carter because that guy is a monster, and he's going to be a monster for a very long time here in Philly.
Yeah, I guess we'll start with Jalen Carter. My goodness, if I can find his name on my stat sheet. Where is he? Oh, no, there he is. He has 2 tackles today. He has a half a sack, and he forced the fumble. The guy is just all over the field. He's a monster. He's an absolute monster.
There's very few players, especially in the NFL, where there's no minor league system where these guys kind of grow, where from day one they step on the field and you can kind of see that they're just like a star impact player. And so far he has been that this season. He has made his mark in every single game so far. Today he just kind of wiped away that Jalen interception basically by causing the fumble. And every single game that he's played in so far this season, you've really seen that he's going to be a star for a long time in this league. And he's one of those rare guys where you see it right away. I mean, Jordan Davis obviously has had a really good start to this season, but last year you saw that he kind of got off to a slow start. So a lot of guys, it takes until their second, third year in their league to be able to really get it going. And Carter started from day one, and I'm excited to see how his career goes on from there.
So I know it's really early in the season. It's week 3, but could he be in contention for Defensive Player of the Year?
I think he's got to be the leader. Him or Christian Gonzalez from the Patriots. It's a lot harder for a cornerback to win it unless they have really big interception numbers. So we'll see how it goes. But as of right now, obviously only 2.5 games in, but he's definitely got to be the leader in the clubhouse for that. And you've seen players around the league, analysts today, former players around the league kind of all say the sentiment that he's making an impact, and a lot of people have started that conversation already.
All right, I want to shift over to the offensive side of the ball. It's got to be what it's got to be. The Eagles outgained the Buccaneers 228-87 in the first half, but the Eagles only had 13 points. In the first quarter, they had 2 red zone stands, and they only came away with it with 3 points. Lots of interesting offensive play calling. They were running the ball. Just a lot going on. Can you what should we be making out of this red zone offense?
Well, it seems like they run the ball the whole way, the whole 80 yards of the field until they get into the red zone for some reason. And then they get into the red zone and the other team starts to blitz, and we don't have any counter for that. At least so far this game we haven't. We had a 4th and 2 that we ran a Kenny Gainwell up the middle. It seemed like it may have been an RPO where Jack Stoll or Grant Calcaterra, one of the two, seemed like they may have been open, and it looked like a bad read for Jalen. But one of my biggest takeaways is I don't understand the running back situation right now. DeAndre Swift is so clearly the best running back on this team. It's not even close. Obviously, he struggles a little bit in pass protection, but I thought he did okay in that today. He picked up the blitz nice, where I think that Jalen could have stepped up in the pocket a little bit more instead of escaping on that, and he would have had more of a window to be able to find someone down the field. But it seems like that they really trust Kenny Gainwell, and they're going to keep using him, and I think that's a big mistake, because as soon as Swift stopped going out, the run game kind of hasn't really stalled per se, but those explosive plays have really stopped being there. And then Jalen he's not been accurate so far this game, and you've seen the offensive line, I think, has done a really good job this game. They created that touchdown to Olamide Zaccheaus. They created that long pass to Olamide Zaccheaus. Obviously, Jalen gets credit for making the play. He gets credit for staying in there. He gets credit for the throw. But I think that those plays were both made by the offensive line. He had all the time in the world to throw. These guys were able to get into scramble mode and be able to find a way open down the field. Jalen threw a perfect ball to Olamide for the touchdown. But I think the offensive line really should get a lot of the credit for that touchdown. And just overall, it just seems like the offense can't really get it going through the air, whether it's Jalen being inaccurate, Jalen not being on the same page with his wide receivers or running backs or tight ends. He's putting the ball in harm's way. He's had a couple balls. One obviously did get intercepted. That last throw to A.J. Brown was a horrible decision, horrible throw. You need to at least walk away with points there. I don't understand why they're not being more aggressive with 2 timeouts in really good field position. I would have liked to see them be a little bit more aggressive with throwing the ball and trying to get in the end zone. And then if you have to take a field goal, you have to take a field goal instead of just kind of running the ball and being okay with a field goal. But if that's going to be your plan of attack, I don't understand putting the ball in harm's way down to A.J. Brown there. And maybe if it's a better pass and he puts it on him, then okay. But obviously he sailed it and got lucky it didn't get picked. He had another pass to Goddard where they weren't on the same page, almost picked. You can argue about who the blame is on for that one, but after it happens a couple times, you got to start blaming the quarterback. And he obviously has had 2 good throws today, but besides that, this whole season really he just has not been playing like himself. He hasn't looked like himself, and the Eagles really need to turn it around. Whether or not might not affect them this game, but down the road they need to get it figured out.
On the ESPN broadcast right now, Adam Schefter just said that Jalen Hurts was having flu-like symptoms before the game today. So I don't. Should we? I don't want to. Is this the Jalen Hurts flu game? Like it's.
Well, I mean, it's tough to play when you're sick, obviously, but I think it's a little convenient that comes out when he's not playing well. Nobody heard about that in the beginning of the game. So I don't know. If he's out there, he should be playing well. Obviously, it's tough when you're sick to get out there, but he's a competitor, and I'm glad he's playing through it. But the first week it was he's not playing well because he didn't have a preseason, and then the second week it was he's not playing well because they were only coming off 4 days rest, and then now it's he wasn't feeling well before the game, and eventually, like I said pregame, he's a $250+ million quarterback now. He needs to play like one, and these excuses can only go on for so long until you're out of them, and you just look at him and say you're not doing it. And his he had Zacchaeus early in the game, what would have been a touchdown. He underthrew it, and he had Goddard on what would have been a first down to continue a drive. He had him wide, or I think it was Stoll actually had him wide open, threw him way off to the right.
That was Goddard.
Yeah, he's
just had the one that he dropped.
Yeah, he's just got to get it. He's just got to get it down. And I mean, we're only 3 games in. We got a lot of time, but it is a little bit concerning that we're two and a half games into this season, and the passing game has not looked anything like we suspect it to be.
Oh, there's a whole lot of game left to go. Jalen Hurts passing so far today, 12 for 21, 153 yards. He has a touchdown and an interception with a rating of 76. So far for Baker Mayfield, he's 9 for 16 with 80 yards. He's thrown 1 interception. He's been sacked twice with a rating of 43.8. Eagles rushing, DeAndre Swift has 5 rushes for 38 yards. His longest is 14. Kenny Gainwell has 5 rushes for 20 yards. His longest is 8. And Jalen Hurts has 4 rushes for 17 yards. Good for 8 yards. Good for his longest was 14. Or his longest was 8. Receiving for the Eagles, OZ has had himself a big day. He got his first Eagles touchdown. 2 receptions for 58 yards with 1 touchdown. His longest is 34. He's had 3 targets. A.J. Brown, we said it earlier, look for him. My light just turned off. Look for him early. Look for him. The Eagles going to go to him after not going to him much last week. They went right to him in the first 3 plays. They got him twice. He has 6 targets. He's caught 4 of them. 50. Good for 50 yards. His longest is 28. Dallas Goedert has 2 receptions and 4 targets. Good for 16 yards. Devontae Smith has only been targeted twice, but he's caught both of them for 16 yards. And DeAndre Swift has 1 catch for 8 yards. Kenny Gainwell has 1 catch for 5 yards. And Jack Stoll was targeted once, but he dropped the ball. James Bradbury picked up a fumble, and the Eagles have 2 sacks. How about Britton Covey's 52-yard punt return? We were talking a lot about Devin Allen, how we were gonna finally see him, and now Britton Covey stole the show at punt return.
Yeah, it was good to see. Covey, I feel like, is very underrated because a lot of times when people have a first impression of, this goes for all aspects of life. Well, they always tell you to try to make your a good first impression, because that's what sticks. And Britton Covey had a bad first impression with Eagles fans last year. He was not good punt returning. He did not get many yards. He fumbled one early in the season, but from the last 10 games or so on, he was pretty decent, and he had a pretty decent return in the Super Bowl as well. But a lot of people kind of just stuck to their original mindset of, oh, he sucks. And I think he's done a decently good job so far this season, and obviously today, breaking his career-long return. He had another okay return where he saved it from being about in the 5, brought it out a couple of yards. This is what he did in college. He had a couple of big returns in college, a couple for a touchdown. He's got some speed, he's got some elusiveness, and I think it's good for him that he's finally getting some good returns.
All right, the second half is underway. Make sure this has been brought to you by SeatGeek. SeatGeek's ticketing at save you $20 or more with code Philly Sports Report. Go use that. PhillySportsReports.com. Go check there after the game for our post-game recap. Eagles are back on. We'll see you next week for next week's preview, pregame show. Go Birds! Thank you for watching.
Go Birds.